Welcome back to another episode of the Bird Factory podcast. How did Steve Erceg lose this fight? Okay, let me rephrase that. Steve Erceg did not win this fight, nor did he lose this fight. Let's be honest. Guys, if you look at judging in the specific criteria of MMA, UFC rules, what is the number one up on top of the list? Tell me, Phoenix.
Damage.
Exactly. And what did Steve Erceg have all night? Damage. See, this is what's getting me super irritated about MMA recently. How can you dominate the fight for the first 3 minutes and 30 seconds and the last 1 minute and 30 seconds of the fight, you get someone down? How does that win the round? How does that win the round? And this is getting insane because it is causing world title fights. And I'm not going to say this is a robbery, but dude, come on.
Think about the third round for a second, because you're touching on the fifth round. I thought Alexandre
touching on all the rounds.
I thought Alexandre Pantoja won this fight 3-2. He won this fight. But the problem I have is the third round. That third round, Steve Erceg busted him wide open with a nasty step-in elbow and a left hook that ended the combination. And he was gushing blood. He even stopped when he was in the clinch with him on the fence and was trying to stop the bleeding. So if you're telling me that damage doesn't win that round, how does that not win that round? Alexandre Pantoja didn't even get him back down to the ground on that round. He didn't even take him down. He didn't even control him on the ground. He had nothing to ultimately win that round besides holding him up against the cage. So you want to talk about damage being the number one criteria? You better flip that with wrestling, because it's getting bad. It is getting bad because there is not structure to the MMA judging, and they are all basing it off of biasy. Judges are supposed to be non-biased, which I think they are, and it's very hard to find people that aren't biased in the MMA landscape. But if you're going to judge it by the criteria, you better stick to that, because it's getting bad.
And let's talk about the 49-46. What fight were you watching? Me personally, putting my what do you call it? My work hat on, watching the fight, not from a fan standpoint, I had it 2-2. And I had Erceg winning the 4 minutes into that fifth round the whole entire time until Pantoja did a nice Grammy roll and finished the round on top. But how does that win the fight?
Yeah.
How does that win the fight? It's causing world title fights, like how I said. But if I'm Steve Erceg, keep your head up, dude. This was your fourth fight in the UFC. Name one person that's had only 3 fights to get to the title. Keep your head up and you will be back. And I think this puts the flyweight fighters on notice, man. Look out for Steve Erceg.
Yeah. The one thing I'm having a problem with that I've been seeing on social media, and you kind of touched on it too, was the late takedown. Yeah. The late takedown with 1 minute and 30 seconds left in that fight. And I'm getting sick and tired of it, because give this man his flowers. 3 fights into the UFC. He is fighting for a world title fight against Alexandre Pantoja, who has been unbeatable in the flyweight division. He beat Brandon Moreno 3 times. He beat Brandon Royval twice. He beat Alex Perez, who had an amazing knockout last week. He was 9-0 versus everyone in the top 10. So he went into Rio de Janeiro with 3 fights in the UFC in less than a year and took Alexandre Pantoja to the ultimate brink of mental, physical, and emotional break. He took him because in between the third and the fourth round, Alexandre Pantoja was on the stool and he borderline threw up. You didn't see that against Brandon Moreno. You didn't see that against Royval or Perez. So Steve Erceg, give him his flowers. And not only that, think about what he did for 23 minutes and 30 seconds before that fight. the way he utilized his uppercuts, the step-in elbows, the teep kicks up the middle, everything was up the middle, which was perfect because to beat Alexandre Pantoja, you have to keep him in that C range, that outside range away from the takedowns. And utilizing the uppercuts and keeping everything up the middle allowed Steve Erceg to have a chance to win this fight. He almost fought the perfect fight. But to stay there and take away everything he did for 4.5 rounds just because of one late takedown that he got earlier in the round. Yeah. He took him down in the first round. So to not give him flowers is crazy. And I had to get that off of my chest because I'm sick of it. Give the man his flowers.
Yeah, no, the dude definitely has everyone's respect. He went to Rio and fought a Brazilian who is claimed to be one of the best flyweights of all time. And he went toe-to-toe with him. When is the last time we have seen someone march down Alexandre Pantoja like that? Steve Erceg did.
Yeah. But also to give Alexandre Pantoja credit because my goodness, does he have a will? Does he have a heart? Like I said in the prediction show, I said the difference in this fight was going to be his heart and his will. And that is exactly what happened. Because like I said, he was on the brink of defeat, but he kept coming forward. His will did not give up on him, and his self did not give up on him. Hit an amazing Granby roll in the last minute of the fight that ultimately secured the win for him. So to not give him his credit either is crazy too, but he won. He left Rio with the belt. Say what you say about the scorecards. I personally had it 3-2 for Pantoja. Priest had it 3-2 for Erceg. So let us know in the comments how you guys scored the fight and what fight do you guys want to see next for Alexandre Pantoja.